Oh, thank you, Big Love Band. Bittersweet, right? Bittersweet. So while I'm thinking about it, and it's on the top of my head, I do want to invite everyone to stay after service to enjoy. I believe we have cake and we have some veggies. So if you would like to stay, and we would like to actually have the mic go around, and if you'd like to express some appreciation to the band members, that you'll have an opportunity to do that. So please do stay if that's possible for you. So beloveds, my name is Melissa Arterberry, and I am one of the many wonderful practitioners that we have here at the Center for Spiritual Living. We are growing and growing kind of like a big family of practitioners. So I am grateful to share my talk, which is the power of faith. In beginning, I want to remind us that we are spiritual beings first. So just tuck that away. We're spiritual beings, and we're having a human experience. And so here we get to feel a wide variety of feelings, of emotions. And it's wonderful when we can stay in that high vibrational state of love and joy and harmony. And sometimes we dip down into those lower vibrations of fear, of upset or confusion, of angst. And I want to say that all feelings are natural and normal, and they're all okay. They give us information. But sometimes we can find ourselves stuck. And sometimes we have taken up residency and in Anxietyville. Is anyone familiar with Anxietyville? Yes, few of you out there. Can't sleep at night, the wheels turning? Yes. Sometimes we've taken up residence in the state of fear. Sometimes we've taken up residence in the state of disappointment or regret. And beloveds, because we are spiritual beings and we're energetic, those feelings, that energy doesn't just stay right here bottled up. It goes out from us. It not only impacts those closest to us, but it goes out into the world, into the race consciousness, because, beloveds, there's only the oneness, so we're all impacted. So I want to ask everyone here, would you like to see the world changed in some way? More love, more peace, more harmony? Yes, yes. So I believe that change, beloved, starts right here with each and every one of us. If we would each take more responsibility in our energy, in our vibration, to live in a higher state of vibration, because, beloveds, our energy is creative, and we become magnets for that energy. So if we're living in higher vibration, guess what? We're experiencing more love, more joy, more peace and harmony. And because there's only the oneness, everyone gets the benefit of that. But some of us that have taken up residence have a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage, and need some help moving. My house is for sale, by the way. I can relate to that. So I have just the thing to help us when we get stuck and we've got a lot of baggage, and that is the superpower of faith. The superpower of faith helps us move from low vibration, beloveds, up. It helps us move up into heaven. Heaven is a state of consciousness, and we can experience here to the degree we say yes to it. Who would like to move to heaven? Yeah. So my purpose is to remind each and every one of us that we can be the change that we want to see in the world. We can each practice this superpower of faith and transform. We can become superheroes, which is my fun take on our true self, on our highest self. For Jesus did say, "Ye are gods." Something to consider. So I think it's important that I help us have clarity on what faith is and why it's so important. But before I answer those questions, along with giving you a template for a spiritual practice, I want to share with you that the inspiration for my talk today has come from our book of the month, The 12 Powers of Man, by Charles Fillmore. And in this book, he talks about these 12 spiritual faculties. He also calls them spiritual powers. So I didn't just make that up. You can check it out. So if you'd like to know more about these other 11 powers that I'm not going to talk about today, check his book out. So let's dive in to that first question. What is faith? Well, Charles Fillmore tells us that it is the first or primary superpower. It's foundational. It's the power that all the other spiritual powers are built upon. Now, I did some other research and checked out our Science of Mind text by our founder, Ernest Holmes, and he has a complete chapter, chapter 10, on faith. So you can go check and see, right? Am I aligned with what he's saying? And he talks a lot about Jesus and gives Bible verses in regards to what Jesus taught. So the first definition of faith comes from Hebrews 11:1, and it says, "Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen." Now, some of you guys are techies. Some of you gals are techies. Janine, if you have a technology question, she's wonderful. She recently, maybe a month ago, helped me. I'm not so much. But I did ask ChatGPT, what is the definition of faith? And it said, faith is the power to believe in the reality of the unseen or invisible good. I love that so much, I'm going to say it again. Faith is the power to believe in the reality of the unseen or invisible good. So I'd like to focus on that last section, the unseen, invisible good. I believe, because we're here at the Center for Spiritual Living, that unseen is God. That it is that one creative power, that one infinite intelligence that is expressing in, through, and out as all creation. It is in the trees, the birds, and the bees. You're welcome. I'm glad that helped. We have a little fun here. Where was I? The birds and the bees, the trees. Oh, the ocean breeze. Yes, it is even in the air that we breathe. Yes, it is in you and me to the degree that we say yes to it, beloveds. Taking that in, are you saying yes to Spirit? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Breathing that vision in that I am one with my Creator. Some of us have been taught that our Creator is outside of ourselves. And true enough, as I just said, it seemed to go over so well the first time, Spirit is in the birds and the bees and the trees, right? It is all around us, but beloveds, it is in us, flowing through us. And so I'm inviting you today to say yes to it more than you ever have before. For faith is the acceptance that the kingdom of heaven lies within me, that heaven is always available to me. And again, when I am in heaven, I am not the only beneficiary. You get the best version of me. We get the best version of each other when we're living in that state of heaven. In the process of creating this talk, I had a divine download. A divine download. What is that? It's where creativity pops up on our screen of our mind, right? It's like, where'd that come from? So the acronym that Spirit shared with me for faith is focused attention inward to heaven. Isn't that cool? Focused attention inward to heaven. I could stop right there. I think I'm done. Beloveds, that's a great reminder for us because it's turning our attention inward to what we call here first cause. First cause is changeless, meaning that the divine attributes of God never change. As God, as we know it, is love, is never anything less than love. Never anything less than love. But if we put our attention outside ourselves, on the landscape of life, on the effects, on the form, that is always changing. Always changing. Faith is a willingness to surrender our judgments when we are seeing through the lens of ego. So for some of you that don't know, ego stands for edging God out. So when we find ourselves judging or blaming, complaining, that's a good sign to say, how can I see this situation differently? Spirit, how would you see this situation? How would love see this person or situation? Sure. Thank you. No problem. Wow. All I did was activate my timer. Be prepared for some more pop-ups. Wow. We have such a good time here. Oh, the Course in Miracles says a miracle happens when we have a shift in perception. So, beloveds, if you would like to have more miracles in your life, I invite you to surrender any discomfort, any dis-ease, and ask how you might see the situation differently. And as we ask, we shall receive. Faith is the refusal to play the role of victim, and instead, as the Big Love Band sang, to step into our power and be that superhero. For Jesus did say, and even greater things ye can do. What does that look like for us? I think Jesus was trying to encourage us to be the superheroes we were designed to be. Perhaps Jesus was the very first superhero. Lastly, and this is for you, Rita. She's my beloved friend, and I'll tell you more in a moment. Faith is knowing that any appearance of a storm or a mess, get ready, it's clean-upable. This is a word I made up, and I shared it with Rita. And she said, find a place in your talk for it. And I'm like, really? So I did. I chose to be playful and to share with you that we can make up words, that Spirit is always wanting to be creative, beloveds. Don't be afraid. Have faith. So, beloveds, some of these messes that we're perceiving could be wars, they could be divorces or past memories, but they are meant to be our messages. We are meant to learn from them and to grow from them. Faith is knowing that there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that Spirit cannot use for good that initially appeared to bring upset or harm. Do you like that? Now I'd like to answer the question, why is faith important? Faith is important because it is the antidote to fear. We can use or utilize faith whenever fear bubbles up. Living in Florida, fear can start to bubble up around September. Some of us remember Hurricane Ian. It did get me a new roof, but that's another story. Sometimes issues seem like big mountains for us. And we can't see beyond them, we can't see over them, we can't see under them. But remember, Jesus reminds us that if we have the faith as a grain of mustard seed, we can say to this mountain, move, and it will move from here to there. There will be nothing that is impossible for us to do. I believe that's Matthew 17:20. I didn't include that in my notes. Faith is so important because it allows us to live in a state of fulfillment, of peacefulness and harmony when things are still undone in our lives, beloveds, when we are still in that line, when we are still waiting for something to happen. Sometimes it takes a minute for a mountain to be moved. And with faith, we can exercise patience. We can still be in a state of happiness. So no matter what is unfolding in our lives, beloveds, whether we're looking at a new diagnosis, we're looking at a new job, we are looking to move. We can still be the light of the world, no matter our health status, our social status, regardless of the weather or politics. We are meant to be superheroes. Faith always overcomes fear. And with great faith comes great power to create a world that works for everyone. This brings me to my final question. How do we cultivate faith? Well, Ernest Holmes says on page 160 that there is no one who believes more in faith, more in prayer, or more in the necessity of the divine well-being done than he who practices daily the science of mind. A daily spiritual practice, beloveds, is what we need if we want to grow more faith. So, I want to offer a template on what a spiritual practice based in science of mind might look like. And if you've been coming here for any time at all, these will be redundant. You've heard them before. But we would begin with a treatment, an affirmative prayer, to say an affirmative prayer for ourselves or other beloveds, which is what we do as practitioners. We love to pray with you, beloveds. So knowing the highest and the best, just as Rev Shell sits in high watch, we do that for one another as we pray for each other. There's also an expression, treat and move your feet. And that simply means that after we pray, that we ask, what is mine to do, if anything? And then we practice the pause, postponing action until serenity emerges, and being led by that divine guidance. Of course, meditation would be on our daily practice. And so if you could set aside at least 10 minutes a day to be in quiet and to actually feel the energy of God flowing through you. This is so significant when we are wanting to create a personal relationship. For God is personal to the degree we cultivate that relationship, and God is law as well. So we know that we can do a variety of meditations. Some beloveds are here that I walk with on a regular basis. We walk in nature, and sometimes we walk silently together. It's a beautiful practice to do meditations with each other. And so I do encourage you to check into Rev D's meditation that she's doing online. There's plenty of meditations that you can check out on YouTube as well. Meditation is also a great time to take questions that we're having and ask what is ours to do. And often for me, an answer will bubble up during that meditation, and sometimes later. Now, one of my favorites. I am a big Louise Hay fan. Who else? Yes, love her. She was a religious science of mind practitioner and minister. Yes. And so she has wonderful affirmations you can check out on YouTube or in her books that she's written. But creating affirmations for ourselves and saying them in the mirror repeatedly so that we can develop a language, an affirmative language, a language of self-love that we not only share with ourselves, but we can share with our beloveds. I have moved into some language. Most of you that know me, I often say instead of goodbye, what do I say? Anyone here that knows me, when I say see you later, I don't say see you later. What do I say? Who said it? Thank you, Donna. You let Steve off the hook. I was beginning to move to him. I see you safe. I say to my boys all the time, I see you making wise decisions. And guess what? I have to add this. Some of you know that my youngest, Reagan, He's lovely, truly. And he stretches me. He's a teacher. We're all teachers and students. But I agreed that he could join not a sorority. What did he join? A fraternity. He joined a fraternity against my best judgment. I let go and I let God. And so I kept seeing him safe, making wise decisions. Guess what Reagan did? He quit. A miracle. Thank you, God. He quit the fraternity all on his own. I didn't have to beg and plead. I do want to share with you these 4 statements that I kind of keep in my back pocket, not wearing any pants today. But Louise Hay says, this is a combo again, but there's 4 of them. All is well when any fear is bubbling up, reminding myself, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good comes, and I am safe. It's a beautiful mantra to say, to calm ourselves, to recenter ourselves, to ground ourselves. I would also highly encourage you to be involved in some group study. Get involved, whether that's here at our center, but get involved in a group. We do have a Course in Miracles group that I've been involved with Patty Carney for the last few years. I have some beloveds here that we started a group back in 2020. And I believe, I don't know when we last met, but we were going there for 4 to 4.5 years. And we met on a weekly basis. Very rarely did we ever miss. And beloveds, we know wherever 2 or more are gathered, there's a synergy that happens. And we can learn more effectively and efficiently, and we can learn how to be intimate with our feelings, to be honest, to share our vulnerabilities, and be held safe in that holy relationship. I can't say enough about learning with a group on a regular basis. I also encourage you to have a coach, a spiritual coach of some sort. It helps us when somebody else can give us some honest and loving feedback simultaneously. Of course, I can't forget to encourage you to get out in nature and to listen to music, and so I want to give you 2 songs before I go. If I had time, I would turn on Superhero by Daniel Nahmad. You can go back and watch this video if you forget what that is. Daniel Nahmad, Superhero, goes along with my talk so perfectly. And I would also suggest Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith's One Day in Heaven. So as I close for today, beloveds, I want to offer you that heaven is real. Please make the move and join me in heaven. Thank you.